It would be so easy for us all to just agree that Oklahoma crapped the bed yesterday in Lawrence, Kansas against the Jayhawks. If this was the Jayhawks of old, but therein is the problem, people. And it seems like nobody else is talking about it. Kansas is legit because of who's running the show in Lance Leipold, and this is no longer a team that you just laugh at. If you're brand new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I talk NFL, I talk MLB, I talk NHL, I talk NBA, but I love talking college football, and if this is the type of content you enjoy, this is the channel made for you. So subscribe down below, leave a comment on your thoughts of Lance Leipold and the successful job he's done throughout 3 seasons with the Jayhawks. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, your family, your pastor, the drunk guy passed out in a Waffle House parking lot on Saturdays, game days, because if we get to 1,000 subscribers by November 15th, I will shave my head live on air, Lex Luthor style. We do 3 live shows a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. So hit that subscribe button. Give me a follow on social media as well at Mr. Cole Thompson on Twitter, at Cole_Thompson on Instagram. And always subscribe to the channel. And let's talk more college football. Kansas losing is very normal. That's been kind of the bread and butter of the conversation surrounding Jayhawk football since 2007. And we could go even further back before the Mark Mangio era and call that losing mentality. And that's been a big problem for the Jayhawks as of late. And you could say that because of how we expected Kansas to play and how Kansas plays where basketball season remains at an all-time high, this is not supposed to be a team that puts together winning seasons. And you don't expect much from them. But you didn't expect much from Utah either after Urban Meyer decided to go to the likes of Florida. No, you instead said, well, Utah will just come back to reality and there'll be another run-of-the-mill Mountain West team. And once you get the right coach, once you get the right guy in the building, all bets are off. Kyle Whittingham is the right guy to be leading the Utes in Salt Lake City, even though they did lose at home against Oregon on Saturday. But in same token, Lance Leipold belongs in Lawrence. And they have to do whatever they can to keep him around because that man is about to become one of, if not the hottest names on the market for an upgraded head coaching this offseason. Not only was it a massive, huge 38-33 victory over the Sooners at home, Kansas became bowl eligible yesterday. Kansas is now 6-2. They still have an outside shot, not long, but still an outside shot looking in at going to the Big 12 title game. They have a shot at getting double-digit wins for the first time since 2007. Oh, and if you're not mistaken, let me add this to the conversation. The last time Oklahoma lost to Kansas was in 1997. You know who was alive on that coaching staff? I'd say about probably 50% of those people. You know who was alive on that football field? Nobody. There was not a single player on either side that was alive the last time that Kansas pulled off the upset against Oklahoma. And therein is exactly why, when we talk about Oklahoma, everyone wants to go ahead and say, well, it's Oklahoma. They should easily win this game. This is a game that they should manhandle a Jayhawk team. Because especially they don't have their starting quarterback in Jalen Daniels. And especially because they don't have a sufficient passing attack. And especially because they can't stop the run to save their lives. Look at the numbers going into this game. That's Kansas for you. But you play up to a standard, just like Kyle Whittingham does at Utah. I don't like to compare coaches a lot. I think everyone has their own mantra. But if there was a scenario to where a person fits exactly what they're trying to implement with the school, Kyle Whittingham and Lance Leipold have a lot of similarities. They do, without question. For starters, you never question who is in charge of running this program. Every single time that you see these guys take the field, not only are the players running through a wall to defend their head coach, but they're playing like their asses are on fire for said coach. That's the big staple. Number 2, they're always well equipped. You're never going to find a way just to completely unravel a Utah team. And so far, in the last 2 years, you can't say the same thing about a team like Kansas. Kansas is a tough out. Now, there will be games where talent just completely overexceeds, but this is one of those times where they're always so well prepared. Talent is the second factor in all of this. Kansas came to play. Kansas came to win, and the buy-in inside the locker room was that they knew they could win, even with Jason being at quarterback. And look at that, they did. weather likely played a factor into this game. I think everyone understands the way that Jeff Lebby's offense primarily works is through the air. You have a Heisman caliber quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, and naturally you want to watch him sling it. But he was able to run. Once again, this Oklahoma team was able to run the football, 4.9 yards per play, over 260 yards on the ground, 5 rushing touchdowns. But to combat it, look at what Kansas did. 225 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, including one impeccable 38-yard run from Jason Bean. 5.5 yards per carry. I think they handled business. Not only that, they also had an exceptional defensive game plan. A lot of times in that fourth quarter, you were watching as Jeff Lebby and Brent Venables were playing to not win, but to walk away with a win. Lance Leipold and Andy Kolenicki, they were out there trying to win the game. Best way to put it is that Kansas proved they meant business because they wanted to win that damn game. Oklahoma proved they were trying not to lose. And that ultimately, I think, was the biggest difference maker. That ultimately is what really separates Lance Leipold from a lot of other guys. He's playing out there to win. He doesn't care what the score is. He doesn't care what the betting lines are. Vegas can go ahead and shove it, just like Dave Duran told Steve Smith. That's what we can say about a Lance Leipold coach team. And this is not uncommon. This has been an everywhere process, much like we can talk about with Kyle Whittingham being in Salt Lake City every year when they made the jump from the Mountain West to the Pac-12. They had their trialing times, but once they got hot, stay the hell out of their way because you do not want to mess with them. And guess what? You don't want to mess with Kansas. You don't. There will be games that Kansas will lose along the schedule. That's bound to happen. But just to put into context how great of a job Lance Leipold has done with the buy-in, with the recruiting, with finalizing his way and navigating through the NIL transfer portal culture, he's 14-19 in 3 years with the program. He's 12-9 in the last 2 years. Turner Gill, David Beatty, Charlie Wise, and Les Miles combined for 20 wins in 11 seasons. 20 wins in 11 seasons. This team lost 118 games from 2010 to 2021. Right now, they have a winning record in back-to-back years, and they're going to another bowl game. How prominent of a bowl game could it be? That is for the dictators to decide and the on-field play to decide. They're in 6th place in the Big 12. They got games ahead, all winnable in my opinion, against Iowa State, Texas Tech, Kansas State, and Cincinnati. They went out, they're 10-2, and if somehow along the way, the version of what we saw from Oklahoma, or if Texas somehow plays down to the competition, like in years past, and we've seen it before, Kansas has a shot at actually going far and making it to Arlington. I don't think it will happen, but even if it doesn't, can you imagine what the buy-in is going to be this offseason now that you have a coach that seems very much elated at where he is? Now the program and the university is upgrading its facilities because of who is in charge. And now you see what this team can do. It's not fair to say Kyle Whittingham and Lance Leipold are the same, but neither has had their starting quarterback for quite some time. They still find ways to win. They still have a buy-in from the locker room, and they don't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. Instead of saying that maybe Oklahoma blew the game against Kansas, how about just say instead Kansas is a pretty damn good team and that they deserve the respect that no one else has given them. And if they won't get it on the national spectrum, you'll get it right here on Just Saying It. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.